This is just kind of meant to be just a little tutorial of how to get out of bounds, followed by sort of where to go once you get there. Just because I know that out of bounds is a little... it's a little finicky. So, because on the one hand, it's getting out of bounds itself is somewhat difficult, and then once you get out of bounds, it's somewhat difficult to see where you're going. So it's going to be easier for me on my screen on my TV to see where I'm going than it will for those of you watching on Twitch. And that's just the thing with the brightness. So I recommend, I strongly recommend when you play this game that you turn the brightness up on your TV. It really helps with the it really helps with being able to see where you're going. A lot of the dungeons are pretty dark as far as, and very low lit. And so turning up the contrast really helps deal with fake difficulty. Deals with fake difficulty just from being able to not being able to see where you're going. So that's my first recommendation is whatever TV you're on, turn the brightness and the contrast up so it's easier for you to pick out where exactly you are. Because you're not going to have a lot of ability to really see what you're doing, because out of bounds is all just kind of a big blur of so the file that I'm using, actually, it had a death. It was a 100% run that had a death somewhere in Boil Hole, I think. Probably trying to get out of bounds. So that's the file that I'm using, just loaded one up. So I'm getting ready to enter Boil Hole. So those are the magma fish enemies. We're going to be looking for one of those once we get into Boil Hole, because that's going to be the enemy that we're going to be doing the out of bounds trick with. Also, make sure that you have 19 fire before you enter Boil Hole, because we do need the spell compression, which you get at 19 fire in order to be able to go out of bounds. So right now I'm just circling around. Okay, there is the magma fish fight I need. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to kill 2 of these enemies. I don't really care which 2 I kill. I just want to make sure that there's only one of them out there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I use the spell compression. So the spell compression is a fire 19 spell that lowers attack for enemies. And that seems completely useless, but it also has the effect of, and I'm going to use confusion here to get some MP back. Compression also shrinks the size of the enemy sprite, and that's going to be the crucial thing for performing this glitch. So there we go. See, this causes the magma fish to move in towards me. So I want to get him against the wall. I don't think he's quite close enough to the wall, so I'm going to use barrier to get some distance. Just use confusion as needed to keep your MP up. Oh, no. I thought I had it, but he... Okay, I think we got him where he wants to be. Yeah, I think that's good. So I'm just going to sit myself right between the magma fish and the wall. I'm going to put barrier on because even with half attack, his attacks still hurt. And as he uses magma ball, I'm going to run towards the wall. So if he uncompresses, the force of him, as you can see, the force of him expanding followed by me running into the wall will cause me to actually clip through the wall, as you just saw, getting me into out of bounds. So at this point, I can just leave the battle. So next thing we want to do is we want to actually get through Boil Hole. So you can kind of see, you may be able to kind of see the path here. So we're gonna just kind of follow. So there's this first lava room that we're gonna skip. I'm obviously going slower than I would in a run, just so I can show you what's going on. So we don't have to go around there. You can kind of see the path right here. And we're gonna go ahead. I normally would not drop down here, but in order to make it easier for you guys to see, I'm going to do so. So if there's any battles, just use escape, run around. So if you cast the healing spell, as you can see, when it's going to darken it to help you see that a little bit better. So now we're going to head this way to the southwest. I'm going to clip down right here just to drop my altitude a little bit to help you guys see again. So you're going to pretty much, whenever you get too close to inbounds, expect a battle. That's just because of this way the step counter is set up. So now we're going to walk over here. This is the second lava room. We don't have to... There's a treasure right here that has a dragon potion that we are not able to get, unfortunately. But the time save from being able to go out of bounds is it's more than worth getting. Alright, so at this point we're going to kind of head to the northeast. And we're just going to kind of follow the path. You may be able to just barely see it. If you can't, I cast healing a couple times to help darken the path a little bit, get some more contrast. So we're just going to basically follow the path, staying just a little bit far away. I could just barely make it out on the bottom left side of my TV where the path is. So we're going to follow this until we get to the big cavern area, which you may be able to see coming right up. I'm going to drop down again. I can see where it is on my screen, but since it's going to be different for you guys, let me go ahead and drop down. So this is the big cavern. It kind of goes down. We're going to head due east at this point, and we're going to clip down one more time. And it's important that we almost getting to where I need to go. It's really important that I clip down right here. That's going to give me the right height for the Fargo battle. So you can kind of see the path here. Let me cast a couple heals so you can see it a little better. Now we're going to be careful not to decrease our elevation again. We're going to follow to the just south of southeast. As you can see the compass right here. I'm going to have to move a little bit more towards just southeast. And I'm getting very close to the end of the dungeon. So with Out of Bounds, it's not really that long of a dungeon just because you have so few random encounters. Alright, once I get around there, so I get around this last path, you can see the steam things coming up. You may have just been able to see Fargo right out of the corner of the screen. So there's some Rockies, but thankfully we get to just run away. So there's Fargo. You can see him pretty easily from here. You should be able to. So technically we could just go directly to the exit from here. We don't have to fight him, But from a speedrunning perspective, we found that it is optimal to do so, just because you really want to have the 20 extra HP. So what I want to do is I want to get to about right here, and then I can clip in, should look something like this. So there's a spirit. I can get this from out of bounds, but I'm not going to right now. So there's Fargo. So as you can see where I am, Fargo's way down now. So against Fargo, ideally Magic Barrier doesn't miss, but you know, it's quest 64. So I'll go ahead and put another barrier up. So, okay, so I need to get I need to move just a little bit. Okay, I'm trying to find the place. There's a little place you can go where I can't seem to find it, where Fargo will, I think I need to move probably a little bit this way. Okay, I'm having some difficulty actually. He keeps using his long range attack, which as you can see, it can in fact hit me. Alright, now I got him where he needs to be. So I'm gonna have to use a mint leaves. Ideally you don't have to. But you want to get him into this place right here where Fargo is just using a short range attack. He can't hit me, but I can use Avalanche, and you may be able to hear the sound of Avalanche hitting Fargo. So at this point, you know, just drop rocks. Ideally, it shouldn't take too many hits to kill him. Too many casts. You might need to use one MP item during this fight, but ideally you don't have to use any. So as long as I stay right here, Fargo will not do anything to attack me in any way. Alright, and Fargo is dead. So that gets me up to 160 HP, gets me the Fire Ruby that I don't actually need. So at this time, I could get this spirit right here. So that's where the spirit is. So that's where the spirit is. I could get it right now. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get it. You could also come back inbounds. You could actually leave the dungeon, then come back so you can clone this and get the Dragon's Potion. So when I do the 200 spirits run, that's what I do. And then in order to leave the dungeon, you just want to head due east. So you're going to head just about due east. And then you should pretty much clip right into here. And once you get right here, you just kind of hug the wall, and you can trigger the loading zone that gets you into Barracoon. And that is how we do out of bounds through Boil Hole. There are ways to go out of bounds. There are ways to go out of bounds in both Coal Hazard and Blue Cave. However, current strategies that are generally used by most of the runners don't do so because it requires getting to 19 fire, which throws off kind of where you want to be for other fights. So a lot of times, so I only do Boil Hole out of bounds. Generally, I think it's the one that saves the most time, though it is possible to do so either using Wyverns in Coal Hazard or using the Scorpion enemies in Blue Cave. So I don't have videos of doing those out of bounds, but I wanted to show you the Boil Hole out of bounds because that one has become pretty mainstream among the top runners of this game. So that's out of bounds for you.